Welcome to Aromatherapy and Reiki for chronic pain in elderly women. So I'm going to introduce our speaker, Dr. Ann Ness. Dr. Ann Ness was initiated as a Reiki master by Janet Marinelli in 2019 after practicing Reiki level 1 and 2 since 1995 and 2010 respectively. Ann has provided care for elders much of her nursing career. Certified as a clinical aromatherapy practitioner through coursework through the R.J. Buckle Associates LLC, Ann is excited to combine clinical aromatherapy with Reiki energy healing for her clients. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Ann Ness.
So thank you for that kind of introduction. It's an honor to be here with all of you. I'm so grateful so many of you came to this talk, and I'm so excited to see so many people are Reiki practitioners in our midst. So I did put a lot in the lecture notes about how to do Reiki, so you're all going to be like, but welcome, and I'll tell you a little bit about some other things too besides how to do Reiki. Do I do the enter button to get to the next one? Yes.
Whatever you did just works.
Okay, great. So I recently learned from the ReikiCenter.org that there were 2 other types of Reiki energy practices in Japan when Dr. Usui came down from Mount Yamana with his enlightenment and his new plan for providing Reiki. So that's what it's called. The kind that I was trained in is called Usui Reiki Ryoho, and that's what's usually called traditional Reiki these days, because the other 2 types of Reiki practices that were around in 1922 have kind of fallen out of use. But the Reiki Usui is really an effective healing system, and he developed some system for hand positions and a system for attuning new practitioners to make it more efficient than the old way, which would take years of just holding hands with the master to become a practitioner. But now we have Reiki symbols that we can do over people and call in the Reiki energy and do an attunement in one day instead of years. And Reiki means universal energy. So Rei means universal, Ki means energy in Japanese, just like Chi in Chinese. And it's relaxing. And I said 16 energy centers, but you can do, the handout I put on the table has 12 hand positions that you can do. If you have somebody who's gonna lay on their back and then turn over and lay on supine, then you can get the other 4 positions in. So another cool thing about Reiki is the energy goes where it's needed. So we target the chakra centers, the chakra energy centers with our hand positions. And if somebody has like a broken thumb, the energy will still go to their thumb. But you can also put your hand over the broken thumb when you are channeling Reiki. So the attunement makes it so that universal energy flows through the practitioner. And it's very important in your first Reiki level to learn, according to Diane Stein, that it's all about letting go of ego. Ego will only get in the way of being a good practitioner. It's not you doing the healing, it's the universal energy. And all people can send healing energy with their hands, because our hands are like great centers of biomagnetic energy. And there's a new patch that my daughter is using that uses crystals to reflect your biomagnetic energy back at you to stimulate stem cell production. And so I think I'm developing a theory that that's one of the reasons our hands help people heal, is that the biomagnetic energy is intensified when you put your hands on somebody's body and stimulate stem cell production. That could be tested in the future, hopefully. Might be expensive to test it. So my presentation is about combining aromatherapy with Reiki. And so I thought I'd tell you a little bit about what is aromatherapy. I forgot to ask when people came in, how many of you are already Reiki practitioners? Eight? That's very great. 8 is great. And how many of you are already aromatherapists? 1, 2. Okay, so that's good that I have more points on the aromatherapy slide because less of you are already aromatherapists. And when I did my doctorate, I was teaching nurses, and so I learned about this theory of nurse education by Dr. Love. I love her name. Her symbol is a tree, and it was student-centered nurse education, that you have to get to know what students already know before you can teach them anything. And you also want to find out what they want to learn. So who's more interested in learning about Reiki or getting attuned to practice Reiki? Raise your hand. Out of the 2 subjects.
I'm interested in all of
Reiki.
them.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's more interested in aromatherapy? Okay, about a little bit more on the aromatherapy side. Okay, so it's cool that a lot of aromatherapists today are studying the chemistry of essential oils and their terpenes and sesquiterpenes and aldehydes and esters and how they interact with the hormone system, and it's getting very molecular. And there's a scientific database of essential oil research that you can subscribe to, like £100 a year. And I was trained in that theory of aromatherapy, the aromatherapy as chemistry, the R.J. Buckle School of Aromatherapy. But I found this book by Dr. Light Miller, and she taught at the Florida Vedic College, and it was the Ayurvedic aromatherapy. And so she taught that there are energetic qualities in essential oils, like uplifting, heating, cooling, moistening. Just like in Ayurveda, you have different flavors and gunas that affect how substances interact with your organism, depending on your constitution type. And so I'm kind of in love with that. So I picked some essential oils that I wanted to pass around the blend I made for my clients, so you can all smell it. And you can pour a little on your hand if you want, if you like it.
Is there a purpose for that? Like, is it uplifting?
Yes, it was for somebody with chronic pain and anxiety, and so it's she has a lot of Vata energy, but it's kind of blocked. You know, that's she needs to open up her channels, but not get too open or scattered or dissipated. And it's interesting that the aromatic molecules go directly into the brain through the nostrils. And so there's a lot of neurological effects to aromatherapy. But it also penetrates the skin, and it will keep circulating as long as the liver allows it. Because most essential oils are metabolized in the liver. So my friend who used to be one of those pyramid companies representatives and loved aromatherapy, she gave me all of her oils because she had a liver disease and didn't want to use them anymore. So the oils provide energetic information to our bodies, and the information they provide is specific to each plant. So you can say it's like individual chemistry or individual energies. They're both different ways of looking at the same thing. So I like to look at their effects more than their chemical composition. So I haven't memorized very many of the chemicals that make up different plants. But when I did a aromatherapy evidence-based protocol for my a clinical practice, I did provide the chemical analysis of the particular oils we were using to our guidebook, which is kind of a good thing to have in your nursing practice. You can get it from the oil company that you buy your oils from, usually. They usually do gas chromatography to see what is the chemical makeup of the essential oil you're using. Am I loud enough for everybody? Yes? Okay, I'm getting a thumb up, or you need louder?
Louder. Old ears.
Okay. I just realized my voice was trailing down, and I think there's probably a microphone, maybe? I don't see it.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll just try to be louder. Sorry. So this one, the grounding, stimulating, calming, soporific, euphoric, those are commonly noted on the essential oils that when you buy them in the store. So that makes it easier to pick one, depending on what you want, what you need. And a professional aromatherapist can mix different oils for people. And so that mix that's going around, did it make it to the whole room yet? That one has frankincense, lavender, and ylang ylang. Yes. That's the way my friend from Philippines said it, ylang ylang. And those flowers grow in the Philippines, so I thought she was right. And the frankincense is, you probably know that there have been kingdoms made wealthy by the trade in frankincense. They like carved their castle out of stone in the side of a mountain. I forgot, is it in Saudi Arabia? Have you heard of that? There's a movie called Arabia that was at the Science Museum that showed this place where their wealth was built on frankincense. And it's really commonly used for chronic illnesses and immune-related illnesses. So my client had fibromyalgia and anxiety and a lot of pain. And she also had hypertension, and I read that a side effect of ylang ylang is reduced blood pressure. So if you don't have high blood pressure, you should be careful using ylang ylang because it might make you lightheaded. So I thought, I'm gonna give it to everybody who has high blood pressure. And my friend at work, my colleague, had high blood pressure and asked me, what aromatherapy can you use? I asked her to check her blood pressure before and after smelling it, and it always went down when she checked. So, and I can pass these around if you want to smell them individually.
What was the third one?
Oh, ylang ylang. Oh, lavender was the third one, and I didn't. Did you bring your lavender?
Let me check here.
This one is not lavender. I gave away the lavender.
I did bring the lavender.
All right.
Yay!
How do you spell that? Elaine.
YLANG. Twice. And it's 2 words. Yes?
Would your client use it as, externally as or in a,
Yeah, I did it. I
An
applied
air
it
thing.
topically.
topically?
I would put it on her hands and her earlobes and her feet. Or sometimes I would give her a back massage and everything, but just for the purpose of our mini case study we did, she agreed to do a quasi-experimental case study on whether it would make a difference in how, okay, let me get to that slide when it comes up. So there are different estimates of the prevalence of chronic pain in elderly women, from 25 to 50% of women who are called elderly, which I'm gonna be there pretty soon. But my clients were in their 80s. And the psychological effects of chronic pain is that it's depressing. You don't wanna get up, you don't wanna do the things that you love because it's gonna hurt. And people with, the longer someone suffers from chronic pain, the more of the neurochemicals of pain are circulating in the body all the time, so the harder it is to not feel pain. But the interesting thing is a lot of elderly women have a really high pain tolerance. So even though they have more of the neurochemicals of pain circulating, they underreport their pain. So what would probably put most of us, writhing in agony on the floor, they're just like, oh, that kind of hurts. They just have a lot more tolerance. And there was studies that found that community support had a big influence on how much pain elderly women experienced and reported. That the more supported they feel, the less pain they feel. And that's one way that Reiki and aromatherapy both help people feel supported and feel in community. So the two women that I took care of who were in their 80s with chronic pain were Carol and Jean. And the cause of the pain was different for the two women. Carol was the first one I was taking care of. She was my aunt, and she was hit by a car and had knee replacement, and then 5 years later she slipped on some ice and broke her hip, and it didn't heal well because after the knee replacement she didn't want a hip replacement. She said, that didn't go well, I'm not doing it again. And so she was in a nursing home and they wouldn't let her walk because she was a fall risk. And so when I moved her into an apartment so I could take care of her, she really wanted to walk, and it hurt to walk. And do I have this on the next slide? Yes, I do. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of my slide. Okay, so, and also when they didn't let her walk, the circulation was really poor in her affected leg. So it was the knee and the hip on the same leg that had been affected. And so she had chronic cellulitis and dependent edema in both legs, but the cellulitis in the affected leg more. And lavender oil worked like wonders for her chronic cellulitis. Yes?
So you use regular, some type of oil, and then you add a few drops of the essential? I mean, how do you?
Yes, I used olive oil for this bottle that went around, and sometimes I use apricot kernel oil or coconut oil.
And in that amount, how many drops of each would
Yeah,
you
so
say
it's like
into?
you want, like if you get 5% is essential oils and 95% carrier oil, that's usually enough. But some people only do 3%. I don't think it smells good then. I think I'd like to have at least 5%.
Thank you.
Okay, and yes.
And then topical?
Yes. I don't, most American aromatherapists do not use essential oils internally, but in Europe, there are doctors who prescribe internal uses of essential oils in gelatin caps. And you can buy those gelatin caps from some distributors. I can't remember, maybe Young Living. doTERRA does it too. And so it's maybe that barrier is getting broken down where people aren't as afraid anymore. But one aromatherapist who used to be a fan of Young Living and broke away from them because she thought their practices were not right. But she told me that the founder died of liver failure, and he was eating a lot of essential oils.
Oh, really?
So I would still be careful about how much you take it internally. But yeah, so one thing about lavender is it's the one that you can use neat without blending it in oil. So it works really good for infections if you just dab a little bit on or put some on a cotton gauze over the wound. It's very helpful in my experience. Oh, and Carol's pain when she was walking was so easy to stop with Reiki because she was a really spiritual, mystic person who thought it was Jesus coming to heal her leg, and we were talking about the placebo effect earlier, so if she believed in it so much that it worked like that. So I didn't think of combining the two with Carol, but then with Jean, you know, I knew that the Reiki would help her pain level go down somewhat, and aromatherapy would help her pain level go down somewhat, and I just wanted to know. Okay, so she had chronic fibromyalgia, rotator cuffs were disintegrated. Okay, so the study design that she agreed to was that I would see if I used fake aromatherapy, and I used Voltaren gel for the fake aromatherapy because it has a strong camphor smell. And she had it around the house, and she had been prescribed it, but she never used it, so she wasn't even that familiar with the smell. So she didn't know. I would like the gel and the aromatherapy were in her bathroom, and she'd lay down on her bed. I would just do the front positions and just slide my hands under, because flipping back and forth wasn't easy for her. So it was so quickly apparent that the sham aromatherapy was inferior to the real aromatherapy with the Reiki that I only did the experiment for 1 week because it just didn't seem ethical anymore. I'll show you the raw data. Oh yeah, so she scored her pain before the treatment and after the treatment. So you can see both days she started out at an 8. With the sham aromatherapy, it went down to a 4. With the real aromatherapy, it went down to 0. Okay, now, the next day after getting the real aromatherapy, she started out at a 4. And the sham aromatherapy only brought it down to a 3. And then after the sham aromatherapy, she still had a 2. But then after the real, she had a 0. After the sham, it went up again. After the real, it went to 0 again. So if you see results like that, it's pretty compelling that not just the immediate pain score reduction, but the next day pain score difference was important to me. That I didn't, when I saw her pain going up again after the sham, I was like, that's it, I'm not doing this anymore, because I don't want you, I'd rather see you the way you are after the real aromatherapy. And so she agreed. So this is the percent change, the first day of the 2 different treatment arms, the second day. So this is the sham, and this is the real. Sham, real. And the last day, there wasn't that much change because her pain level was so low. So she said, after having Reiki and aromatherapy and another week after that, it's amazing how different a body can feel. And that made me so happy. And she said, the body doesn't lie. She wanted me to put that in. Okay, so here I finally got to the slide that explains why I chose those oils. And I failed to put on the PowerPoint that lowers blood pressure, the Elan. And I like frankincense because it's kind of tridosic. It has air, space, it has all the kinds of scents all mixed together. Air, space, it's cooling, heating, grounding, uplifting, depending on what you need. So that's probably why it's so great for autoimmune problems. And ylang, I think it just makes blends smell better too. I don't know, did you guys get to smell it when it came around? It's so pretty. And lavender there have been a lot of studies about lavender as an anxiolytic and as a sleep aid, and I'm surprised there's not more about pain. There's some about pain relief and lavender, but I found it's really helpful for pain too. So like I said before, I was really noticing that the next day pain scores went up with after the sham treatment and were lower again after the real aromatherapy. So I think that even though it's a small data set, I think the results were really compelling and that people should do a bigger study. If they have money and patience, lots of patience. Oh, so another primary focus of level 1 Reiki lectures is obtaining consent. To ground and center yourself, one thing you can do is that prayer I put on the tables. If anybody wants to keep it, that's what I call the Reiki prayer. Just for today, I'll try not to worry. I'll try not to be angry. I'll do my duty, and I'll be kind to others, and I'll be full of gratitude. I feel grounded when I say that. And then there's also the hand positions are on the table. So if you guys want to practice with me, we can do the hand positions on ourselves together. So this one has starting on the top of the head. And that's not the way I was taught. But it makes sense to me because the crown, there's like 2 chakras here. The above the head chakra, which is the connection to the spirit world, and the crown chakra. And then over the eyes. It's nice to start with over the eyes. So if you want to switch 1 and 2, I'm for it because it kind of draws your focus inward and it's very relaxing, the heat on your eyes. Can you all feel the heat from your own hands on your eyes? And then, does she have the one behind her? You can't really see what she's doing. I was taught to do it like this, but I bought these drawings because I didn't feel like drawing my own. And so I would put my thumb in front of my ears instead of behind my ears for this position.
How much pressure?
And she's doing over the ears. And it doesn't have to be any pressure, or you can do, if it's on yourself, you can do as much pressure as you like. But when you do somebody else, just light touch. And even if you're barely touching, they might feel like you're pushing on them because of the energy. It's happened sometimes where you're barely touching someone and the Reiki is pouring in and they're just like, you're pressing so hard. And your hands will feel really hot to the person you're treating. And then over the throat, or you can put it on your throat if you like that, but when you're doing somebody else, I was taught not to put your hands directly on the throat because that position makes people feel like they're being strangled if you're actually touching. And then you can do the shoulder. Does she do the shoulders this way? No. And then the high heart. This is the way I was taught to do the high heart instead of the way the picture is. Or you could do it crisscross. Whatever feels better for you. And then, so there's 2 heart chakra positions, and then the low heart under the breasts. And then the solar plexus. And that's about your connection with others, that energy center. That one often gets very hot for me when I'm doing Reiki. You too? Because they're feeling connected to you. I think. And then the sacral chakra, that's your emotions, your water, it's orange. A lot of women have energy blocks in that chakra. Sometimes I like to imagine, like I took the nurse's healing touch training too. I like to imagine the chakra spinning when I'm touching it and the color of the chakra. But typically I will just, and then I do the root chakra like this. How does she do the root chakra? Huh. She skipped it. Sorry about that. I didn't really examine the pictures very well. But I think of the universal prayer, may you be well, may you be happy, may you move with ease, may you be at peace, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings move with ease, and may all beings be at peace. And that kind of keeps me focused on the higher good of the moment. When I'm giving Reiki, I think of that prayer over and over again for each chakra. And you'll know to stay longer on one chakra if your hands feel cold when you're doing it, because that means there's a difficult blockage for the energy to get through. Or sometimes your hands will just feel like they're glued to a chakra because that energy is needed there. Has that happened to you too? Mm-hmm. That your hands feel glued to a chakra? Like and then I'm not going to do my feet standing up here to dress. Oh, she's sitting lotus style. That makes it easier. So some people will put their hand on both sides of one foot at a time. I usually do both feet at a time, top and then the bottom. So that's 2 positions for me. How about you, Kenny? Which way do you do it? Both feet at the same time? So that's a preference. And then, okay, I could have put a lot more references. So that's the end. I probably have way more time, huh?
We've got about 10 minutes for questions.
Yeah, anybody want to say something?
How do you know quality oil and what you're getting?
Oh, you could ask the manufacturer for their gas chromatography. If you smell it and it smells really good, it's probably good.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Probably more expensive too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the more expensive ones are higher quality usually. So these are all brands available at the co-op in Minneapolis. This one's the Whole Foods brand. It smells pretty good. I usually get from Frontier Herbs their Aromatherapy oils because they're cheap, and I give them away a lot to people, and they have little bottles. But this one, and also Aromatherapy has relationships with farmers, so you know that they're not like ruining the land where they're getting their essential oils. And some people think Aromatherapy oils don't smell as good though. The Now has been around a long time, and this was super cheap for pure frankincense. It was only $30 for this big jar, which I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get it. And it's not the greatest smelling frankincense that I've ever smelled, but it's pretty good, and I think it works. And then this is my first time buying this brand, the Komoni, We have a lot of essential oil people in Minneapolis. I think that one smells really good. It smells better than the Aromatherapy one that I usually use.
Do you try to stick with one vendor for authenticity of the oils?
I don't. That's why I thought it would be good to bring 3 different brands so that you can see. And that was actually RJ Buckle class I went to too. They made us sample products from different vendors. Like they had a starter kit that was like 16 oils from 10 different producers. So I think it's good to shop around, see whose oils you like, find out what the prices are, what the different prices are, what you can afford. So if you join Frontier Herbs Co-op, it only costs $25 to join. Then you get wholesale prices on their essential oils. It's a really good deal. So that's why I usually get theirs, but I'm all out of these 3.
Rochester also has essential oil.
Who? Oh,
The co-op here.
oh yeah.
Just a couple blocks away.
Oh yeah, I went there and I tried on a perfume that they had a tester, and it smelled so good at first and heady and made me feel like floaty. But then, like an hour later, I thought it smelled like poop. So I had to like take this. Oh, this is from Aromatherapy, this Chocorol, and now they're trying to sell a lot more blends. I added this to the bad smelling one, and then it smelled good.
What about the soaps that have the different scents in it? I mean, are those just as
If they
therapeutic?
say essential oils, they are therapeutic,
Well,
I think.
A
Yes?
lot of times there's stuff that thinks it's essential oils and it's like essential oil of watermelon, which there isn't one. So I would really like ask, or like be like, are these essential oils, like if they're, you know, sometimes they have blends like rose or jasmine will have blends, lavender, normally it's just lavender essential oil. But like I just watch.
People can
Yeah,
say
people
they're
don't know.
essential oils, and then because they put in 1 drop, and then they use a whole bunch of artificial
Yeah.
scents to boost it and make it cheaper.
I have seen, I can't think of a brand, but I think a lot of times if it is a quality essential oil, they'll like actually give like percentages or some kind of data illustrating that there's a significant amount in it.
Or like the land name, a lot of times will be on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Cause there's like a million different types of lavender.
Yeah.
Well,
So this blend that you made for pain,
Yeah.
in those 2 case studies, did you use the same concentration for both?
Nope, the first one, Carol, I just used lavender oil for her.
Okay,
And I didn't use it for her pain, just for her infection.
okay.
And then I got the idea with Jean to combine because she had a more complex pain.
So you adjusted it just like medicine would be adjusted to the
Yeah.
pain level.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the whole thing about using essential oils with like crystals or gems?
I'm not an
Let them give
expert
off
though.
energy.
I'm not an expert, but have you ever heard of Aromatherapy, I think it's called? It has the gems in the oils
Oil mixed with
with the
herbs.
different colors. Oh, I got a book of that. There was a question in the back.
Just curious, for yourself or anybody in here that works with aromatherapy, do you have any recommendations for migraines or fibromyalgia? Any certain ones that work the best, or any tips?
That's, I was about to say lavender, but then I remembered that people with ADHD can become more hyper with lavender. And I wonder if migraines share anything in common with people with ADHD, but it's neuralgia and not pressure related, the migraine.
It's my mom.
Yeah.
It's super complex, but she's dealt with all different types of migraines. And I think personally stress has a lot to do with it on top of other things.
I would recommend the ylang probably, because I think a lot of migraines are like blood pressure issues in the brain, aren't they? And stress makes it go up, and anxiety. And this is euphoric. Do you think she would benefit from feeling more euphoria?
Yeah, I just would worry about blood pressure, that's,
It brings it down.
yeah,
And she's already low?
yeah.
Oh, okay, darn.
What about rosemary oil?
Oh, rosemary is good for the mind. It makes you remember things better. They've done a lot of studies that if you smell rosemary when you're studying for an exam, it'll help you remember.
What about magnesium glycinate for migraines? They say
Oh,
magnesium-
she's got a recommendation for migraines over here.
Magnesium glycinate. Yeah, caffeine. Have you ever heard of paracetamol? It's Tylenol with caffeine. So they say with migraines, a little bit, not like 2-3 cups, but a little bit of caffeine and a little bit of magnesium glycinate can help. It's like a little vasospasm in it anyway.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, so.
Okay.
So you were looking at the
You just want an aromatherapy version.
I put makes on it before.
You know, they had this mandarin oil here today.
What works on some people with migraines doesn't always work with everybody, because sometimes they're very sensitive to scents that can
Mhm.
cause migraines.
Sure.
So whereas lavender would help someone with intermittent migraines, someone with chronic migraines, sometimes the lavender triggers it. So it's maybe, like, if you have a few at home, to see what they like.
Mhm. Right? I have a theory that if you enjoy the scent, it's more therapeutic for you. And I just had an intuition that maybe your mom would like this mandarin oil because it's often used for pain and for nausea. And they were giving away at so you can give her that one.
Well, I don't normally like lavender, but I noticed that you're married, and I actually like that. Is that still the lavender?
Yeah.
Is there a difference?
There's different types of
Yeah.
lavender that smell like honey.
Okay, I
Some
don't
have
really like
more like a spicy, like a spicy, like
There's all
piney smell, so yeah. Would be the one that's good for you.
I see aromatherapy from a herbal point of view because I'm an acupuncturist, so we study a lot of herbs. And I think that was a really good advice or note that see what they like, and if they like it, it's good for them, right? So in terms of like Chinese medicine, like you boil a bunch of stuff, and then everybody thinks it smells like socks. But it's for you and it's right for you, you would love it. So, and in terms of migraines, in Chinese medicine, there are 6 patterns of different kinds of migraines. So in Western, it's migraine.
Right, we don't have very many distinctions.
Yeah, so be kind of careful on the approach, but start slow, especially with the elderly, right? So low dose, let's try a little something and see whether that helps. And before you go and get a big jar of stuff.
Right, and I think that product that they were giving away is well diluted. It's not too strong. Does it smell good to you? And I think that's the oldest aromatherapy company in Minnesota, Windmere. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Some. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they use it there.
So, I have a sign-up sheet if anybody wants to get an attunement after the plenary. Come back up here, but I need to know who's coming. Just
What do you mean?
level 1 Reiki attunement. Okay.
What is it, do explain a little bit?
Then we do magic symbols. It's a sacred ritual, and that was developed by Dr. Usui and his predecessors. Did I say predecessors? I mean, the people who came after him. Is that followers?
Successors.
Successors. That's the right word.
I always forget that too.
Followers.
Can you explain that with, like, to the people that don't know Reiki?
An attunement is It's a secret ceremony, and it's a certain set of symbols that the master performs over the student to direct the Reiki energy to go to that person, for that person to be a channel for the Reiki energy. And I wanted to do this lecture and offer attunements, and that's why my friend Sarah came.
Hi.
Because she's my first Reiki master student, and she can help me do attunements. And I just think the more nurses who are attuned to channel Reiki, the better.
Can I add something about attunements?
Mhm.
So, one thing that I would mention too is like the attunements, it's not like a religious thing. You can be any religion or spiritual path and still get an attunement. Lots of nuns get all 3 levels of Reiki attunement. So just in case there are folks from different paths like Christianity in here, it's not a religious thing. It's just a part of passing on the healing energy from the founder. So, but of course, it's like up to you. But I remember before I was first attuned to level 1, I was like, symbols, oh, that's kind of weird. But it's nothing bad. It's all good energy. And I just thought I would share that in case someone was interested, but this is new to them. And I have to say also that it's just such a great thing to have level 1 attunement, because not only can you lay hands on others, but it's so great for self-healing. And I'm probably the only non-nurse here, but I think nurses are wonderful. And I think it would just be such a great thing to have as a self-care tool right in your hands. So that's all I have.